So we have some new findings from Gallup here, and this is on the topic of the media. They say party affiliation remains a key predictor of attitudes about the media. 71% of Republicans, but far fewer Democrats, 22%, and independents, 52%, have an unfavorable opinion of the news media. Across all measures, Republicans express more negative sentiments about the media than do Democrats and independents. And they say attitudes differ by age. Beyond partisanship, age has an independent effect on media attitudes. Older Americans are generally more favorable toward the news media than are their younger counterparts, whereas 44% of Americans age 65 and older have favorable views of the media. Just 19% of those under age 30 say the same. Okay, so let's talk about a bunch of this stuff here. First of all, 71% of Republicans basically think the media is fake news. And 52% of independents say the media is fake news. Democrats trust the media more than anybody else. Now, this is skewed, I believe, because, in my opinion, because you have it's really like the older suburban Democrats here who trust the media. So you have like younger leftists don't trust it, but the group that trusts the media the most are Democrats, and I'm guessing here that they're also like older and suburban. So it's only 22% of Democrats that have an unfavorable opinion of the media. Now that does raise issues. That really does raise a bunch of issues because it's harder to get through to these people about just how much they're being lied to and propagandized if they do have some sort of loyalty to mainstream media. Whereas with Republicans, they're totally skeptical. Now, I think that the 71% that have an unfavorable view of the media, if you talk to them deeper, you'll probably find that a lot of them like frickin' One American News Network or Fox News, and they hate the others. So it's not like they're skeptical and also it's a very nuanced, thought out, intelligent position. No. It's like they don't like the media, but they just don't like it because they're not doing the propaganda that they want them to do. But I think the independence number says a lot. The independence number is 52% have an unfavorable opinion of the media. I think that really is an indicator more of like how a normie would feel. Like just somebody who's maybe somewhat apolitical, but every now and then will flip on the news and they watch it, and a slight majority are like, I don't think they do a good job. So the partisan breakdown is interesting, but I think the age one is even more interesting. Only 19% of people under the age of 30 say they like the media. 19%. Now, most of the people under the age of 30 are on the left. That's what the numbers show. So only 19% of young people like the media. That actually brings me quite a bit of hope, because I do think that the younger generations are just generally speaking more skeptical. That's why most young people, when you talk to them, they know like, my uncle or whoever, they got convinced by a stupid frickin' lying right-wing Facebook meme. And it's just like, how do you even fall for that? It's obvious bullshit. So there's this skepticism among the younger generation that doesn't exist as much among the older generation, but it's the degree to which it exists, which is amazing. Only 19% like the media under age 30. So in some ways, you also could say that maybe the media is on borrowed time because they have every institutional advantage. They're on TV, they get all this ad money, even though their ratings are not that great. They have every institutional advantage in the book. Even on YouTube now, they redirect you to CNN or MSNBC, and they try to hide channels like mine where the algorithm screws us. But they might be in trouble in the long run because younger people are not buying what they're selling. But I want to get to one more thing that they polled here, because I think this is super interesting. But just remember, guys, polls very recently showed that the media is actually more unpopular than even Donald Trump. Isn't that wild? So the media was at a record level of unpopularity very recently. Now, let me give you the last part of this. They say, the internet is exacerbating problems with the media. Americans are largely overwhelmed by the sheer volume and speed of news coverage, and 78% say the spread of misinformation online is, quote, a major problem, exceeding all other challenges posed by the media environment. Nearly 3/4 of U.S. adults would like to see major internet companies find ways to exclude false information or hateful expression online. Oh boy, here we go. So then it occurred to me, look, they used to ask these questions about the media in a different way. But now they're like changing the way that they ask the question, the polling companies, I mean. And like, why would you ask that question? Hey, do you think that maybe something should be done to curb the spread of misinformation online? Well, what do you want to be done? You want some sort of ministry of truth? You want some sort of deplatforming or censorship committee to be set up? Which philosopher kings would you like to run that? And notice, when it comes to online, they're asking that question. They're not asking that question when it comes to the main networks. Why wouldn't they ask that? Listen, it was the mainstream media networks that pushed the Iraq war, a war based on lies. Did anybody ever ask, hey, don't you think something should be done about this? This is dangerous. This false information is having real-world consequences. The same people that brought us Russiagate. Oh my God, the majority of the stories pushed by mainstream media on Russiagate were totally bogus. Totally bogus. Nobody called for accountability. Nobody said, hey, maybe something should be done about this. Nobody says that's misinformation, even though it is. It's misinformation. It's propaganda. So, but they always bring it up when it's online. Why? Because, guys, again, we're seeing a trend here. Anything they view as their competition, they try to shiv you. They try to bury you. So they don't like new media. They don't like the internet. Are there issues with, fake news online? Of course there is. But that's always been the case. And it's always been the case in mainstream media too. They have a pretty terrible track record on even more important issues. So it's almost like this weird begging for censorship. And we've already seen, I told you guys 1,000 times, but the way the algorithm works now, it totally screws this show. We doubled in size in the 2016 election. In the 2020 election, we're growing at a snail's pace. Why? Not because anything's different that we're doing. Same guy doing the same show. It is all because the algorithm redirects and tries to effectively, unless you're watching this show all the time, I'm not getting recommended to new people. I used to get recommended to new people all the time. They'd watch a video or two and then they'd subscribe. That never happens anymore. But this is the trend, guys. This is the way we're moving now. Where even the polling organizations are like, should something be done about the spread of misinformation? But not from the official outlets. Never the official outlets. They're official by definition, even when they're wrong about stuff. Only for the internet. Only for the internet. So anyway, people generally don't trust the media anymore. And I think they're correct to not trust the media anymore. Final numbers I'll leave you with are these. 84% say the news media is critical or very important to democracy. So that proves that they're not giving up on the concept. Like, obviously, we need the media, and they need to be watchdogs of people in power. It's important. It's important. But 86% think there's at least a fair amount of political bias in news coverage. So, in other words, regular people don't think that the news is just sort of telling them what is. Like, just tell me what's going on. That's it. I don't want your spin, and if you're going to give me an opinion, just let me know it's an opinion, and then I'll, see whether or not I agree with you. But people generally, 86%, think that when they're watching the news, it's not just the straight dope. And that's the problem. And that's the problem right there. We have a totally backwards, terrible system. The worst people rise through the ranks and get promoted, like Chuck Todd, who just got promoted, or Nicole Wallace. These are the people, Wolf Blitzer. These are the people who dominate mainstream outlets, and it's because they have establishment groupthink. So the media's never been in a worse position. I'm not surprised by that. They're getting what they deserve in terms of how people feel about them.